And yeah, now we're recording. Oh yeah, the Trench Bros podcast.
Fucking Gert.
The Gerts. And Josh here. And Sin Daddy. Trench Bros podcast. Trench Bros. Welcome everybody to the Trench Bros podcast.
Woo! What's up, everyone? David's just cruising on into the old podcast, you know.
Oh man, I feel like I need to give. I was gonna give you like a wrestling entrance. Yeah, you fucked it up. That's
I'm
okay.
here though.
Yeah, he's here. So I am Jesse Sin. This is Josh Zimbleman.
What's up, everyone?
And down there is David, 69 Plymouth Cougar Gertz.
You got it right there. Finally.
69 Plymouth Coupe. Dude, that's a great car, man. You know, that's like one of my grandpa's favorite cars was a 69 Plymouth Coupe with a cream with the gray top, you know.
Yeah, that was Josh's grandpa's car.
This is custom. This over here.
Yeah.
Custom.
Primer gray.
Primer.
It's fucking beautiful. So today, guys, so you know how Josh definitely misremembered his grandpa having a 69 Cougar. Just so happens to go with what we're going to talk about today.
I swear to God, he did. Everything.
Huh?
What, David?
Said I saw the pictures and everything.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't die in 2013 with the car.
Probably in prison in the 90s or 80s. I mean,
Very possibly.
Dude. I mean, are we going to talk about like an effect or something like, Buffalo Go Bills, lake weather effect or,
I think it's more like we're going to talk about the Mandela effect.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, we've been discussing doing this for a while, and you would think that, you know, anybody but Jesse would do some research and shit. And
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I might have done the least amount of research on this, but it's something that I think about all the time, especially when it comes to parallel universes or alternate realities.
Yeah, and those go hand in hand, so you'll be hearing us discuss parallel universes as well. They go hand. Oh, where the fuck's my camera at? In hand. So that's, oh God, Illuminati. So to sum it up, I have a quick synopsis of what the Mandela effect is. So in 2010, this shared false memory phenomenon was dubbed the Mandela effect by self-described paranormal consultant Fiona Broom, in reference to her false memory of the death of South African anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela in prison in the 1980s. He actually died in 2013 after having served as president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, which she claimed was shared by perhaps thousands of other people. So there's like a ton of different examples of this. The main one I think a lot of people remember is the Berenstain versus Berenstain Bears.
for sure.
Do you guys remember that? Because I remember it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
I remember it Steen.
The one that gets me more is the monocle on the Monopoly dude.
Wait, he doesn't have a monocle?
What?
Yeah.
Time the fuck out. Okay, yep, there's one.
No way. All right, Gertz, you gotta lead it with this one because I guess that blows my mind right there because I've never heard about that one.
I don't know. They say that it somewhat associates with the Mr. Peanut and whether or not he has a monocle.
I could see that. They actually have a name for that. If I wasn't stupid, I'd be able to find it.
I looked yesterday, but I forgot my notes at work today, so I'm winging it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, it's just
I
it's the
jotted-
way of the world.
I jotted down a couple things that I kind of remembered, but
Yeah.
Well-
Yeah. Go ahead and let me look this up right quick. There we go. So
do you want to talk about like what the Mandela effect is? Like, I've got I would say a pretty good description.
yeah, go ahead. Hit it up.
The Mandela effect is a mass memory discrepancy effect.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's basically how like the collective human consciousness, we aren't that spot on, and your brain fills in holes. So like when you remember, like to say your bedroom growing up, like there may be little things that you remember about your bedroom that might not be there. Like maybe there was a lamp, but you don't remember what that lamp looked like. So you kind of filled it in with a lamp. You know
Dude,
what I
I
mean?
totally have one of those.
Yeah, what is it? Explain it. Tell me about it.
When I was a little kid, I was probably, I don't know, between the age of 2 and 3. My bedroom had like a little playroom off the side, but like next to my bed, there was an antique stereo thing, like an old radio dial, probably from the early 1900s radio stand thing, and I was told it wasn't in there.
Huh?
What?
It was in the other room.
Huh?
So I've never experienced anything, I don't think, like that, but that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the like eyewitness
My
testimonies and stuff.
my whole childhood was fake.
the whole thing. Yeah, it does. It really does feel like that.
Well, for your whole childhood being fake, you're doing good now, but keep it up.
Really well
It's
adjusted.
real.
Some would say it seems like we are in a simulation. I don't want to talk about that yet, if we even talk about that yet. But yeah, I don't have anything too terribly crazy like that either. Although there are things where like I have vivid memories of doing certain things that never happened. Like my brain believes so wholeheartedly that when we were younger, we found the house that I grew up in the woods and moved in. Like I have this memory in my head that happened, and it's so vivid. That's not
why
the way.
you think you're a bear.
Exactly. Oh fuck. Yeah, that's probably it. My whole childhood was shaped by some fucked up memory. But yeah, that's
So.
Go ahead.
Oh, here's a question. Was when it comes to Mandela effect, we all ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever love the Jiffy brand?
Jiffy?
Yeah.
It's always been.
I like Jif.
See, well, I was just reading something right now because there was Jif and Skippy brand peanut butters. I always thought, literally growing up, that Jiffy was a brand of peanut butter. And that fucking blows my mind.
Well,
No, but it's branded cornbread.
yes, it is.
I know the Jiffy brand of the blue and white box
It's
of cornbread and stuff
fucking
like
tight.
that.
Yeah.
Little Jiffy cornbread with some little syrup on that shit.
Right.
Bitch. But yeah, well, and what's really crazy is when you said Jiffy, like it took me a second because it was like that. It sounded so fucking familiar. I was like, yeah, wait, no, it's Jif. Unlike GIF, which is GIF.
No,
Oh.
not GIF.
Not GIF.
There's JPEG and there's GIF.
GIF.
Get it right.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. So to me, the interesting portion of the Mandela effect isn't so much the collective unconsciousness portion of it. It's more like how when you start kind of getting into the weeds, and it feels more like a multiple universe or multiple dimension situation, because that to me is what it feels like. It feels like we're kind of bleeding into another universe, right?
For sure.
Yeah. I don't think I wrote anything down for that. Oh, I did. So I have. So when it comes to multiverses, I'll do some reading. It's kind of long, but I feel like I read relatively moderate speed. So the multiverse, multiple universes has been hypothesized in cosmology, physics, astronomy, religion, philosophy, transpersonal psychology, music, and all kinds of literature, particularly in science fiction, comic books, and fantasies. In these contexts, parallel universes are also called alternate universes, quantum universes, interpenetrating dimensions. I don't like that one, but I kind of like that one. The physics community has debated the various multiverse theories over time. Prominent physicists are divided about whether any other universe exists outside of our own. Some physicists say the multiverse is not a legitimate topic of scientific inquiry. Concerns have been raised about whether attempts to exempt the multiverse from experimental verification could erode public confidence in science and ultimately damage the study of fundamental physics. Some have argued that the multiverse is a philosophical notion rather than a scientific hypothesis because it cannot be empirically falsified. The ability to disprove a theory by means of scientific experiment has always been part of the accepted scientific method. Paul Steinhardt has famously argued that no experiment can rule out a theory if the theory provides for all possible outcomes. In 2007, Nobel laureate Steven Weinberg, like Max Weinberg, suggested that if the multiverse existed, the hope of finding a rational explanation for the precise values of quark masses and other constants of the standard model that we observe in our Big Bang is doomed, for their values would be an accident of the particular part of the multiverse in which we live. So that was a lot of words for a lot of scientists don't believe that we should even look into the multiverse thing.
Yeah. They just don't believe in the physics of it.
Yeah. But what I think, so I have conspiracy theories about it. I don't know what you guys looked into or what, David. I know you had a bunch of stuff. So do you have anything you want to talk about with it?
Not really. I mean, I had some other theories in the Mandela effect. I just have the clip notes. I don't have like anything really any knowledge about them.
Read them. We'll discuss them.
So like some of the theories of the Mandela effect are like the time travel butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's time travelers out there and they might have like stepped on a stick and broke it, and then some kid ran over it with his bike and died. It changed everything.
Yeah.
And so like what we actually lived through that, and so we have those memories, but when that happened, then it changed. Then there was the CERN particle accelerator, I believe in Sweden,
Mm-hmm.
that I can't remember the dude's name, but he said that it like ripped reality.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's the one I think that's the one I kind of subscribe to, that I feel like is happening. So the Large Hadron Collider, I think it was Higgs boson particle is what they were looking for, the God particle. But what they do essentially is we'll walk it all the way back. So
real quick, what happens if you get all 5?
I get all 5 what?
Particle stones.
Then some big purple dude snaps you out of existence.
Oh. No, God, dude, stop it. Fuck.
So,
Higgs boson, dude.
Yeah, Higgs boson, dog. The Thanos of everybody. I don't know. So where I think what I think is happening is, so when you start looking at quantum physics and stuff, you start looking at particles that you actually can't see and you can't observe, because the light can't refract off them because they're too small. So we can't physically observe them, which leads to a problem. Have you heard the Schrodinger's cat theory?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
So a lot of people will call it they'll just base it down. But what the Schrodinger's cat theory was that, or as a hypothesis more like, so what you do, you take a box and you put a radioactive particle in that box. And then you put a radiation detector in that box as well with a cat. Just a hypothesis, with a cat. And if that, you seal it up, and if that radiation detector detects any radiation that leaked out, it opens everything up and it kills the cat essentially. But if it doesn't, the cat's alive. So what he's getting through to this is that you wouldn't know unless you open the box and looked at what's happening inside of that. So you look, so without observing it, the cat is both in a state of both death and life. It's at the same time. It's what do they call it? It's like super something. I can't fucking remember because
like Super Saiyan, dude.
Super Saiyan, dude. No, it's so it's like a super state. So it's in both. It's not only is it alive, but it is, the cat would also be dead. And the only way you would know is if you open that up and you looked at it. But once you observe the data changes. So you could never observe truly what's happening right in front of you.
So it's kind of like a scratch-off lottery ticket.
Yeah, you're a billionaire and also have no money at the same time until you scratch it. That's exactly right. That's like a way easier.
Good job, David. Way to pick up what Jesse was putting down, dude. Because I was like, man, I don't know a shoebox with a cat. I'm gonna,
Yeah, we're killing cats, or maybe we're not killing cats. We don't know. But so because of that, they created the Large Hadron Collider to find a way to visibly like measure and essentially slam things together to create even smaller particles, like how they discovered the other particles in the first place. We smacked them together.
Like a reactor, but different.
Yeah. And it's this fucking massive loop. It's this huge fucking loop that just they just throw particles at each other. And they think that the idea is that at some point, they slam particles together, which created a frequency, a different vibration that messed with the time-space continuum. They ripped a hole in the time-space continuum, and it's allowing another straight up. It's allowing another a parallel universe to bleed into our own. But with the parallel universes, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Josh, you know about the space-time continuum?
Yeah. What about it? No, sorry. As Jesse's talking, I'm literally like on my laptop looking up the God particle, the Higgs boson, and I was just reading some stuff about it. So I'm not. I'm listening, but
no, read it. Read what you have in front of you.
Okay, so it's from. It's an article from 2019, but the God particle on July 4th, 2012, a massive team of scientists confirmed that they had detected evidence of the Higgs field. The details of the experiments used to detect the field are fascinating and are well covered here and here. The reporting of this event has long been a source of irritation among some groups of scientists. It was termed the God particle and hailed as the particle which gave all matter its mass. One of these phrases is obvious clickbait. The other is demonstrably false. The Higgs field is directly responsible for around 1% of the mass of your body. So it kind of seems like this article is kind of just saying like they kind of, don't go for it.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed a lot in that is you've got different schools of thought that
it's called science versus faith.
Right. In the leafy inner eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Okay, sorry. When newsrooms around my home country, Australia, began the task of reporting CERN's findings to the general public, a group whose science education finished at high school found themselves broadcasting to a similarly educated general public. If the reporting of this event was so inaccurate, then perhaps some clues as to why can be found in science education offered at this level. So basically, what are we, they're saying the theory is relatively easy to grasp. I can imagine a particle. I've been on the beach. I knew what grains of sand look like. I can imagine electrostatic forces. I'd seen magnets work. So, I mean, I don't know. This guy seems to be a Debbie Downer about the whole thing.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. Like a lot of guys don't think you should study it at all, because if you do study it and you do recognize that there's like something happened, you take out the idea that the Big Bang was of any importance. Like that it was something. To me, that's kind of silly. I mean, whatever. I'm from the camp that says we as humans are just kind of an accident. Like we got to where we're at by chance. You know what I mean? It's like how we lucked out being born on the right patch of dirt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have a little article here about from Reuters. The CERN's Reuters. What was that? You see how fake news? So it's CERN scientists' parallel universe breakthrough. This is from October 20th, 2010, updated 10 years ago.
The fucking whatever I talked about, the particle accelerator.
Yeah, the proton collisions. So this is literally about the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC is what they call it. So by mid-October, Director General Rolf Hühr told staff last weekend, protons were being collided at 16.8. Being collided along the 16.8 mile subterranean ring at the rate of 5 million a second, 2 weeks earlier than the target date for the total. By next year, collisions will be occurring, if all continues to go well, at a rate producing what physicists call one inverse femtobarn, best described as a colossal amount. Inverse femtobarn. That's a fucking sweet word. It just means like silly fast. It's awesome. I love science.
Right now, I really wish my cousin, who is a nuclear engineer, be here to translate a lot of this shit for me.
That would be tough.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm reading these articles and I'm just like,
but
whatever. He at least knows something. So the head-on collisions at all but the speed of light recreate what happened a tiny fraction of a second after the primeval Big Bang 13.7 billion years ago, which brought the known universe and everything in it into being, and is widely regarded as a huge mistake. Anybody watch that? Never mind. I just nerded. Anybody who catches that's a nerd too. Despite centuries of increasingly sophisticated observation from planet Earth, only 4% of that universe is known. But the rest is made up of what have been called, because they are invisible, dark matter and dark energy. Billions of particles flying off from each LHC collision are tracked at 4 CERN detectors, and then in collaborating laboratories around the globe, to establish when and how they come together and what shapes they take. The CERN theoreticians say CERN, the fucking CERN, 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 fucking CERN theoreticians say this could give clear signs of dimensions beyond length, breadth, depth, and time, because at such high energy particles could be tracked disappearing, presumably into them, and then back into the classical 4. Parallel universes could also be hidden within these dimensions. The thinking goes, but only in a so-called gravitational variety in which light cannot be propagated, a fact which would make it nearly impossible to explore them.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
All I know is that, like, while I'm Googling this stuff, whatever the field, like the magnetic stuff that they use, like to break these particles or try to attract them, or whatever, this shit looks insane, dude.
Yeah, it's intense. It's like a fucking, it's just a giant loop, but they say 16.8 mile fucking subterranean ring, and they're shooting shit at 5 million a second.
It says it has 100,000 times the magnetic field of the Earth.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, Like I want to just throw me in there. Just like let me explode. Just
Like what? Yeah, what would fucking
Like
happen?
that, bud.
what?
Probably wouldn't like that.
But maybe I'd come back together and
At least
maybe
dip your toes first. Dip your toes first, and then
just
see what
dip
happens.
them. Just like,
Dude.
ugh.
What if you hopped in and came back like 6'4"?
Dude, 6'4" with abs, with
Hey,
like
we're
a
not going that
normal
far.
nose. Throw me in, dude.
But you got all that, but you lost your love for the Bills. Would you trade it all?
Nope, not at all, man.
Yeah,
Go
he would,
Bills,
because
dude.
then he'd be smart and be a Chiefs fan.
No.
Hey, Yessie,
Yeah.
who's going to beat the Bills this weekend?
Who are they playing?
Shame on you, dude.
Bro, we've had this conversation. I don't want
They're playing your Ravens, bro.
It must be the Ravens. In that case, it's going to be the Ravens.
So
gonna be-
great.
That's so
Dude,
Raven.
It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game.
I really genuinely hope the Ravens lose and that you get to see your Bills go further.
Hey, I want to see the Bills go to the AFC Championship, but do you know who the Chiefs are playing?
Who?
The Brandon Brown Trouts.
Some Brandon Brown Trouts.
Hey, Kareem Hunt said it's serious now. It's
personal,
It's
dog.
Personal, yeah.
I'm really mad that they kicked me off the team for kicking a chick in the wherever the hell I kicked her, and then
Right.
not saying anything about it. That's their fault.
And then Andy Reid and Mahomes both say, "Hey, we still love you. Wish you the best of luck. Glad you're on a good team."
That's because, God damn it, just good human beings. Get that man a cheeseburger and get that man a voice that doesn't sound
No,
like
they both
Kermit.
love cheeseburgers.
Do what?
That's why Mahomes is bringing Whataburger to Kansas City.
So get them both hamburgers?
Yeah.
That's fucking tight.
Dude, Mahomes and Andy Reid both have the God particle. That's why they're such nice guys, you know? Think about it.
I could see that. I think technically we all have the God particles because that's how the God particle works, but whatever.
Right, but I mean, right.
Yeah, but they got like the extra. They got like an extra little bit, so like
We
it's
got
not
like a couple
super
extra
duper.
God particles, just like that dude just like sprinkles the salt.
They don't have the particle stones. They have the infinity stones.
Yeah, they have the actual Infinity Stones. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll buy that. That makes sense.
God. Is that Marvel or DC? Because I'm going to get a lot of hate for even asking that question, so I'm just going to need to get some answers.
The only popular DC movie is Wonder Woman.
And Batman.
The new Wonder Woman apparently sucks.
Isn't Batman DC, though?
Yes, Batman is DC.
Batman, Superman, The Flash, all them DC.
The Batman movies with Christian Bale were pretty good, and then
No, Michael Keaton was the best Batman.
Ooh, hot take, dude.
Nah, actually Val Kilmer was.
Oh, Val, dude. What are you gonna watch the Robert Pattinson one? Are you gonna check it out when it comes out?
Hey, hot take. Don't be hating on Robert Pattinson. He did one shitty movie and then I haven't seen that one. But he did a bunch of really good movies. But the way they're doing it, I think is actually going to be really good. What I wish they would do, I'm going to nerd out. Fuck it. What I wish they would do is do Batman Beyond with old Bruce Wayne and the younger Batman. I can't ever remember his name. But because you could have the fuck is his name? Not Matt Damon.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. You could have the older, like beat down Ben Affleck, Batfleck. He's like perfect for it. He'd be the right age, and he could train the Batman Beyond, which would be the next one, which could be Robert Pattinson. I don't think they're doing that.
Hey,
but I wish
can we get real right now?
Let's get real.
Yes.
Batman and Robin was the best Batman thing that ever happened. Like the old 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
So it was like, pow!
Smash! Yeah, dude. Best one ever.
Yeah, that was tight. I did like that. I like seeing the Bat car because there's one in Wichita that drives around every now and again. And I like randomly drive by it. Like a lot. Like kind of an alarmingly a lot. Like I see it all the time.
I love how we got off topic again, because that's the great thing about our podcast, and this is a lot more entertaining
Right.
than the shit we were fucking reading earlier. So basically,
So back to the conversation at hand. What that all said was essentially they're able to discern that they're going to be able to progress these proton collisions to a point where they'll be seeing things like where they won't be able to see things anymore, which could lead to them getting to a parallel universe, like discovering that there is a parallel universe. They're saying that's what they're going to find, which is pretty fucking crazy.
Well, you want to know what I think?
What do you think?
Heaven and hell are parallel universes.
well,
Right now, that's purgatory.
I thought.
well, I mean, there's that whole belief of, I think it's what, well, you know, the saying "as above, so below,"
Yeah.
where there's 5 different realms like above us, or is it 7? I think it's 5. I think it's 5 realms above us, 5 realms below us,
Yeah.
and we're all like, people can ascend to obviously a different realm based on their choices in their life and stuff like that.
I thought it was like Mortal Kombat where you had to defeat somebody.
Yeah.
It's the tower. yeah. I'm into that. Fuck it, whatever. I know there's some weird ones like Gnosticism. Like there's a religious belief that Gnosticism is like
Yeah, I'm with Josh. We totally got way off topic.
I'm kind of into it. It's fun.
No, I'm into getting off topic. I mean, I'm into learning more about the God particle. But like, back to the Mandela effect real quick. Like, what's the number one thing that sticks out to you when you think of the Mandela effect? Like, literally, to me, to this day, I still can't believe that my whole childhood I thought there was a movie called Shazam.
Yep.
With fucking Sinbad.
Yeah,
And that's just crazy, dude.
I remember a movie like Kazam, but it had Sinbad.
Right.
The only reason I remember Kazam and not Shazam is because I watched Kazam like a fucking billion times when I was a kid.
I did too.
Yeah, we all did.
I knew there was Kazam, but I thought there was a Shazam with Sinbad.
See, I never even knew that movie existed. Or I guess it didn't exist, but I never knew that. I don't know. It just never connected for whatever reason.
Really?
Now, he was in a movie that was.
I looked it up earlier. He was in a
Similar
movie.
to it.
Huh?
There was a movie where he was a genie, I swear, with a kid.
Yeah, it was called
Sinbad.
First Kid. I looked. No, not that one. Hold on. I'm looking on my Google machines.
Yeah, I really love having 2 screens because I've got everything, the whole internet pulled up right here, right there. It's literally right.
I got. Let's see here. This screen right here.
Hey, that's the whole thing. I have 2. Josh has 1. You have a quarter of one. So there.
Yeah, dude. Gertz, dude.
Yo.
He didn't even play.
I love these yelling.
Gertz.
Hey!
Hey, he didn't even play a genie in a movie at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. I swear he was in a genie movie.
Huh. Yeah, I feel like he was too, but that's part of it. That's part of that's part of the whole deal. Like we believe so strongly that this thing happened that it probably never fucking happened. It's like my memory of my fucking finding our house in the woods. Like my
memory of having a stand-up like RCA from the 1908 in my bedroom.
Yeah. So another thing I thought I read was pretty crazy is there was a Greek like philosophy and religion type situation called Atomism, where they, like, even back then they were believing in like atoms and stuff like that. Like they were actually like philosophizing about the microscopic substances and stuff like that. And like that dates all the way back to, it has literally no time on it. That's awesome. It's sweet. But yeah, like to the ancient Greeks and stuff, like they, back in antiquity, like they were already talking about it back then. And then it's got to the point now where it's like, we can actually do the things to observe the things, but what's crazy is once, like we were talking about earlier, once we observe it, it's going to be something entirely different than what it actually is. So it's like we could be looking at a different multiverse that comes into our universe that is no longer a multiverse, it's part of our universe.
Yeah.
Which that thought alone just blows my fucking mind, because like how do we know that we aren't part of a different one already?
Yeah. So like another thing, like before we got on tonight, you said something about Elon Musk.
Yep.
So he was talking about AI.
Yeah.
On the Joe Rogan podcast, and like the way he explained it, to where there could be a Mandela effect where you are AI and you're in a simulation. This goes back to simulation too. You're in a simulation, and you know how many cycles has this simulation gone through where we've like gone from beginning of existence to the end of existence, and then it reboots and goes again. Yeah. And you know the hard drive doesn't always get wiped completely, so we have fragments of memories from past realities.
Yeah, or the other thought is that man, I want to make that a whole episode, so I don't want to get too far into it.
Right.
Because I watched a couple videos and read a couple things on it, and there's so much there that like the fact that like Neil deGrasse Tyson says that he's like, I want to come up with a strong argument against the idea that we are not in a simulation. He's like, but I can't come up with a valid argument that we're not. He's like, everything that we're doing, he's like, you look at video games right now as they are, and how they went from the original video game, which was like Pong, where you had two rectangles and a square that bounce back and forth, to now we're playing video games that are like photorealistic, like they're almost fucking real. Like they're getting to the point where like if your computer is good enough, shit looks fucking real. Like I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. Great game. But there's spots.
I was talking about it yesterday, and I went and got Red Dead Redemption,
which is a fucking it's a fantastic game as well. But like in RDR2, like there's spots where like I'd be riding the horse and have to stop and go, is this real? Is this not real? Like, what the fuck? This is like it's too close. So they say, because we've been able to go that far, eventually we already have augmented reality, which is like games like Pokemon Go, where it on your phone, it puts that AR stuff out there. You can put a Pokemon on top of your game, like, or on top of my desk right now. I could have one right there. And then we go to VR, which eventually VR is going to be so good that you're just going to plug the thing into your head and just go.
Yeah.
And
that goes in kind of like the Inception thing, but not really. Or that animated movie where they're on the alien planet.
Avatar.
Worst
fucking movie ever, dude.
Not bad.
It was super fucking overrated. I couldn't believe how overrated that movie was. I hated
overrated, it. Not bad.
Like it was cool. Like at the time, it was like, wow, that was a lot of special effects, and that was a whole lot of fucking effort and writing and hype and everything, all to just retell the story of fucking A New World with fucking Pocahontas. Like all it was Alien Pocahontas.
Right.
Like that's all it was. That's all it was.
For sure. It's still good.
It was good, but I was like, motherfucker, you told the same story but with aliens. God damn it.
Well, okay, so back to your old video game thing about, you know, how realistic it looks and how it's only going to keep getting better and better as time goes on, technology advances, as, you know, like it already has so much within the past like 10 years, really. What I think is, like, not to bring up, you know, Donald Trump, but like his videos he's been putting out lately look fake as fuck. They to me, they look like augmented reality. They look like AI. Like, well, he posted. Well, go ahead.
You can deep fake so fucking well now that it's almost discernible from reality.
Well, the other day he posted that video of him in Texas at like an Air Force base or something, and like his toupee didn't even ever move once. Like, you're gonna tell me it's an Air Force base and there's not like any kind of fucking breeze in Texas somewhere? Like, come on. Like for real, like it just looks so
The product,
fake.
bro. He's got that Suavecito.
Well,
Suavecito. No, it's super agluo.
do you get what I'm saying though? Like his
Yeah.
videos he's released lately, like especially the one after he beat coronavirus when he was at the White House, that thing didn't even look real.
I think what you're getting is like a bad fucking green screen.
I could see that as well.
And that takes away from like the face. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
doesn't it just look really suspect though? Like it just
I honestly don't watch
I mean, there's
any of his
conspiracies out there
videos.
that he died of COVID. So
right? I mean, maybe he did. Who fucking knows?
Oh, fuck. The new conspiracy. Donald Trump didn't defeat COVID-19. He died and he was replaced with a supplicant. That is
Right,
a
I'm
clone.
Googling it.
That is a
Did you
clone.
Google it?
No. That's a clone. That's a clone Donald Trump in the White House.
Dude, so many technologies out there. Don't tell me that motherfucker couldn't afford back in the day to clone something. Not that he personally could afford it, but he could get that kind of financing.
Well, not in America. Motherfucker can't get a loan in America.
That's why he goes to Deutsche Bank.
Straight up. Straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up, dog. But no, going back to the video games, like we are able to, the technology is so advanced now and it keeps advancing at a fucking rapid rate. Like the advancements they make is from one game to the next or the next console generation. Like just in the console generation from the PS4 to the PS5, like when they play things at like 120 frames per second, which they're not getting there. My PC goes that high. Actually, my PC goes to 170, but that's irrelevant. But
nerd.
Yeah, super. But like they're able to make it so real, just that jump, and it was just technology is all they did. They just figured out what it takes. So realistically, in the law of probability is at some point we would be able to create our own simulation.
Yeah, for sure.
So like,
and that's where Elon Musk is getting into it.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting actually 100% of this from. But they could reasonably create a simulation. And so like, if you look at it, like, how do we know that we're not already there? What I think about a lot is older civilizations that just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they disappear, or did they reach a level of technological maturity that they were able to create a simulation? And obviously, you wouldn't necessarily leave like the progenitors into the civilization or into the simulation. So, are we at a point where we are the simulation of that older civilization? So like, they get to the point and go, here you go, and now we're here?
Aaron just brought up Lost World or Westworld.
Yeah. That
I've never watched that show.
Dude, because it fucking kind of blew my mind a couple times where I'm like, fuck, we could literally get there. We could get there. I mean, it's not that far off, especially with the AI advances.
And then I've heard that Black Mirror is a really crazy series too that has a lot to go, like dealing with what's going on right now too.
Oh my God, dude. I had a really hard time watching Black Mirror.
Watching what?
The very first fucking episode of Black Mirror where they made that dude fuck that pig. Yeah, dude.
Spoiler alert.
I've seen it. I don't really remember it.
I just couldn't get into it. Molly and I were like, is it gonna be like this all the time? we never revisited it. And I'm like, huh.
So if we're on the topic of parallel universes or, other universe, like what are your guys' feelings on mediums then? Do you believe in them or
mediums as in like people who talk to the dead?
Well, or people on the other side in a sense, not necessarily dead, but I mean, if
just
you would think they're dead or
mediums are usually like people that connect one with the other.
Yeah.
Right. But from the other side in a sense.
So if there's a medium, like, do you believe in like somebody that can connect you to another reality?
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
I could see that.
I am.
In that case, I'll believe anything. No, I haven't actually thought about a medium in that capacity because I don't believe necessarily that we're talking to people in the afterlife. because I don't really believe in an afterlife. But if you think about it, there could be potential people, because you look at like those kids that it seems like they lived a different life. Like my nephew, he starts talking about his farm. Like he used to make up stories about his farm, but the stories were so thought out and so like detailed.
Yeah.
He'd talk about streets and all these things where it's like, man, are you just like an old soul? Like you're an old soul. You have somebody else's soul. Like you have these fucking super memories about all these different things, and they're just coming out. Or you look at kids, like there was kids that had these vivid memories of being like World War II pilots.
Right.
That would
saw that.
Yeah, they would tell people.
Played a lot of Aces over Europe.
What was that?
They played a lot of Aces over Europe. It was like a original Windows game.
Yeah. Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
But yeah,
Sorry.
like you got guys that those kids, like they took him out on a boat and he's like, this is where I crashed. And sure as shit, there's a fucking plane crash down there. Like, did that kid, maybe the simulation bled over into him, or maybe he the data is still in him, or maybe the data became conjoined, maybe it conjoined itself. I don't know.
You can't hear Erin right now, but she's saying that's my shit.
That's my shit. Yeah. Yeah, that shit's crazy, man. That's just absolutely fucking batshit insane.
She said there's a podcast that's all about it.
What's the podcast called?
It has several people talking about this through actually dealing with it with their children that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's called Radio Rental.
I've heard about that podcast.
It is so good. It talks about aliens and everything. It's like a huge conspiracy fucking podcast.
Yes.
It is so legit.
Why haven't you told my friend Josh about this before?
Jennifer knew about it. I figured she probably would tell them.
She probably
Jennifer ain't told me
Well,
shit.
doesn't want him out in the weeds.
Jennifer now.
Do what?
You gotta go have a talk with Jennifer now.
Yep.
All right.
You have to cuss and
Nice
discuss.
company out there, bud.
Thanks, bud.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Aaron.
Bye.
Thank you, guest Aaron.
Welcome.
But yeah, that shit's crazy to me. There's so many instances of like what seems to be the bleeding of the simulation back into another thing, which makes you think like how easily we could either be in a simulation or a multiverse or all this stuff. It all comes back onto each other. What is going on with your?
Okay, well, so basically, when it comes down to the Mandela effect, like that, now we've talked about and discussed and everything, do you believe it or believe in it? Or do you think that maybe our brain is just, throwing together memories of our childhood and just sticking with the narrative that we kind of tell ourselves, or just constantly go back to
memories that your brain just autofills?
Right.
I
like,
think,
or it could, like, our brain, we just automatically go back to that same thought all the time, and we just can't ever look around it.
See, and like the Jiffy thing, if you were never asked, you would never think about it.
Right.
So it's not like something that's like up front where for sure it's one or the other. Your brain just fills in that gap.
so
Right.
I actually have something on the Mandela effect that they did like a study on it. So it's more reading. So I feel like it's not as complicated. So you don't need a pillow or anything. Gertz, you got the right call. In 1974, Elizabeth Loftus and John Palmer conducted a study to investigate the effects of language on the development of false memory. The experiment involved two separate studies. In the first test, 45 participants were randomly assigned to watch different videos of a car accident, in which videos had shown collisions at 20 miles an hour, 30, and 40 miles an hour. Afterwards, participants filled out a survey. The survey asked the question about how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other. The question always asked the same thing, except the verb used to describe the collision varied. Rather than smashed, other verbs used included bumped, collided, hit, or contacted.
Also had to do with speed too.
Participants.
I know one.
estimated collisions of all speeds to average between 35 mile an hour to just below 40 miles an hour. If actual speed was the main factor in estimate, it would be assumed that participants would have lower estimates for lower speed collisions. Instead, the word being used to describe the collision seemed to better predict the estimate in speed rather than speed itself. The second experiment also showed participants video of a car accident, but the phrasing of the follow-up questionnaire was critical in participant responses. 150 participants were randomly assigned to 3 conditions. Those in the first condition were asked the same question as the first study using the verb smashed. The second group was asked the same question as the first study, replacing smashed with hit. The final group was not asked about speed of the crashed cars. The researchers then asked the participants if they had seen any broken glass, knowing that there was no broken glass in the video. The responses to this question had shown that the difference between whether broken glass was recalled or not heavily depended on the verb used. A larger sum of participants in the smashed group declared that there was broken glass. In this study, the first point brought up in discussion in that the words used to phrase a question can heavily influence the response given. Second, the study indicates that the phrasing of a question can give expectations to previously ignored details and therefore a misconstruction of our memory recall. This indication supports false memory as an existing phenomenon. So, like,
Yeah, it's all brain suggestions.
yeah. Yeah, and like you look at court cases, there is I can't remember the group, but there's a group that goes back to cold cases and actually gets people off, like to try to get them acquitted because they're innocent. And like 90% of the cases that get overturned were cases that were completely hinged on eyewitness testimony.
Right.
Because our brains, like eyewitness testimony is really not that accurate because you can see
because
something.
Basically you see what you want to see to believe, regardless of what it's really happened or not. I mean,
yeah, you see what you want to see, and then your brain fills in the details. I mean, you guys have gotten in car crashes, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I hit a tree one time, but I didn't believe I hit a tree, but I hit a tree.
Skylar and I hit another car head on one time.
Yeah.
Shout out, Skylar.
Now, do you think if you had to reconstruct every second of what happened during that crash, do you think you could?
Yeah, because I only had a half beer before it.
But like for me, I've been in 2 crashes. And the second one where I totaled my black Silverado, I have in my head, I hit 2 other cars. Like at that moment, I was like, I hit 2 other cars. Are those cars okay? But when the cop got there, he was like, no, you didn't hit anyone at all. I was like, well, how's that possible? I spun around. Everybody was gridlocked. Like, how the hell did I not hit a car? Like, I know I hit 2 cars. He was like, because there's no cars that got hit. I was like, but I mean, okay, but like, it's weird. It's weird how in my head, it just, I hit 2 fucking cars and a guardrail. But in reality, I just hit a fucking guardrail. But I couldn't
That's
tell.
interesting.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah, it was a really weird deal. Fucking boom arm. But what I think also helped in it is that there happened to also be a crash like to the left of me that I thought I caused. But like my brain put it together in my head that I hit 2 other cars no matter what.
Right.
And then
but the 2 cars crashed because you hit a guardrail and they were gawking, right?
Probably. I mean, there's a fucking black Silverado coming at him like 70, going, fuck, whoop! Like, I'm sure they were like, oh, what the shit? That was a crazy crash. But and then the other one was my white Silverado in like 2013. That right now I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing that happened when I crashed. I couldn't.
Really?
The only thing I can tell you about it is that I know where it was at. Because it was only like a quarter of a mile where I crashed the second time. Same.
I don't mean to brag, but I've never been in an accident that I caused.
Me either. Well, I guess technically that second one, but it wasn't an accident. Like I had to stop fast because traffic was stopped, but yeah, basically. The
Josh, why are you looking off camera right now, bro?
I'm just trying to recount the accidents that were my fault. So all of them, the 2 accidents I've been in, were my fault.
So do you think you could reconstruct? Do you think you could reconstruct?
Yeah, I can reconstruct for you.
I could reconstruct it.
Coming in hot.
I'm coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
That's funny.
Or the time I was text messaging and sideswiped a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phones will get you.
Goddamn cell phones will get you.
That's fucking awesome, dude. You know what also is crazy is how sometimes you drive to work and you don't remember the drive at all.
Dude, that happens to me all the time.
Same.
When I was at Kraus, getting up at 5 a.m. to be at work at 6, for sure.
You're like, my eyes could have been closed. I don't fucking
realize like my drive to work until I hit 4th and Airport Road, which is more like 3/4 of the way to work. And like I get to that stoplight, it'd be the first stoplight because it was all stop signs before that. I get that first stoplight and I'm like, holy fuck. Did I stop at the last 4 stop signs?
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
Like remember anything up to that point.
Yeah, I've been. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I mean, there's been times I've been like driving to the shop, or or like driving to Cheney because I do it all the freaking time.
Yeah.
And like I'll be driving, and all of a sudden I'll be like, "Did I run a stop sign? Or like, did I run that stop sign? Or like."
Right.
Or the amount of times I've looked back and it's been a red light, like after how it switches real fast and you're like,
yeah, you're like, fuck.
Wait, was that green?
I don't remember going through that.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and you look, it changed, and you're like, fuck, that was a red light.
Yeah. It's crazy how like your body, you just like, oh, David, oh, there you are.
I'm here.
It's just wild how your body gets programmed to it, and your mind does too, where it's just like. It's all muscle memory almost, and you're just cruising.
That for me is my drive to work because it's a 30-minute drive. So
what I suggest? Get a stick shift, and it doesn't make a difference.
No, then you're like, did I drive in second the whole way here?
Right? Definitely
there. I don't remember my drive almost every day. Like I'm just there. Like I just kind of zone out and drive. My drive homes especially. Because, like, especially now, I'm making myself work, like, 12s and 13s again because trying to get paid. But, yeah, I won't remember my drive home because I'll just be tired and I'll just be zoned out, listen to a podcast. And then, like, I'll get there and I won't have heard any of the podcast. I won't remember anything about the drive. I'll just be like, oh, fuck, I'm in Andale. Cool.
Yeah, I notice myself doing that a lot, like listening to podcasts while driving. It's like I'm not even listening. I'm just like spacing off, thinking about other shit, phere I'll just turn it off and just put on some music because I can't even really focus on what's being said.
Yeah,
right.
It's insane. It's insane how our brains work. Yeah, so boys, I think we should probably wrap her up. What do you think?
Let's do it.
That.
So everybody, thank you for listening to this. Expect a few more of these. If you guys want to hear a specific like conspiracy talked about, or you want to hear a theory or just something spoopy or spooky dooky, hit us up. It's spooky season, I guess. January.
Couple months late. But
it'd be fucking spooky season. I don't give a shit. Spooky season, all 2021.
Dude, time is irrelevant, man. I mean, it doesn't like time doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not a thing, so fuck it. Let's get spoopy. So thank you everybody for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go to the YouTube page and like and do whatever you need to do there. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way you get new updates instantaneously on your phone. As if we don't bother you enough. And make sure you go give us a 5-star review on iTunes or a 1-star. If you give us a 1-star and tell us a joke, Josh will send you $7 million. So that's pretty tight.
$7 million.
Yeah.
I'll count it to make sure it's all there.
Right. I want to give a shout out real quick to Gertz for getting me a Buffalo Bills jersey. I really appreciate that.
Because they haven't beat the Chiefs yet.
I know, but I really hope that the Chiefs and the Bills meet up in the AFC Championship so we can get some picks together about to throw down.
God, that's gonna be tight. We're gonna have to have like
because the fucking Ravens are going down, of course.
Duh.
Yeah, I don't have a dog in that fight. Yeah, I do. I hope the Bills win.
There you go.
Yeah,
Way to support your brother.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. That's it. Sorry.
Hey, but when it comes to the Bills and Chiefs are gonna fucking blow the Bills out of the water.
I'm still going with Bills on that one, and
there's a good chance.
Only for the fact that I want Josh to get his.
I know.
But either way that wins, I'm just gonna be like, congrats, you guys. Good job. Proud of you. I'm just glad
Proud of you.
I'm glad the Steelers aren't doing anything.
Last episode, I said I was a very unselfish lover, and Skylar and I both get ours. But yeah.
So it's my turn.
Yeah.
Give.
Yeah. give
no, that's you.
Oh.
All right, everybody.
Gotta go.
Thank you. Goodbye and whatnot. We out you.
We will all reunite again. Until next time. Hey, get the beat right, dude. Yeah. Until next time. We will all reunite again. Until next time. Until next time.
All right, thank you so much for getting the fuck out of here.
I love you guys.
Stan Bakerton.